Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Here to talk about a tough fight involving two unbeaten fighters. Now, before I go further, remember, just consider these videos to be a second opinion. I like to try to give you my opinion on tough fights, including a fight like this one between two unbeatens. But remember, the opinion you should trust should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion. Let's talk about a fight that's happening in the UK between unbeaten Nathan Cleverly, who is from the UK, and unbeaten Karo Murat. Now, in this fight, I'm going to take the guy who throws the shorter punches. I'm going to take the guy with the higher defense, the guy who, in my opinion, comes forward better and cuts off the ring better. Now, this might be controversial because I believe he's the underdog in this fight, but I'm taking Karo Murat over Nathan Cleverly. Let's talk about styles. Let's talk about the fighters. Nathan Cleverly is tall. He's 6'3". He's going to have a noticeable size advantage over Murat. He's very athletic. He hits hard. His last few fights have been by knockout, right? He's developed into a knockout puncher. He's young. He's the younger guy in the ring. He can move, and he's going to be fighting before his home fans, his home country. So what's not to like? And let me just say, and I'm talking about the things I'm looking at, and I really do believe that regardless of the hype, styles make fights. What's not to like? First, look at his length. I see Cleverly bending over a lot. I see him giving away a lot of his height in fights. He doesn't use length like a Vitaly Klitschko, right? He doesn't force you to reach across the ring to try to hit him. He actually is a little bit like old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He gives away several inches during his fights. Also, his jab, he doesn't commit to it. Again, let me use Vitaly Klitschko because he has some of Vitaly Klitschko's physical gifts, right? You saw Vitaly Klitschko against Sam Peter. He knew he had Sam Peter outgunned. Vitaly Klitschko has a very high knockout ratio. He has a punch, but yet he understood that with that jab, he could literally control Sam Peter, keep Sam Peter outside. And just so we're clear, I'm not talking about his brother Vladimir's fight against Sam Peter. I'm talking about Vitaly Klitschko's fight. He used the jab, softened up Sam Peter. Peter realized that he simply couldn't get inside. Peter, who is a pretty hard puncher himself, famously put down Vladimir Klitschko a couple times in their first fight, never got a chance to get close enough to Vitaly Klitschko to really hurt him because of that jab. I have yet to see Nathan Cleverly, who I understand is very popular. I understand he's viewed as the next big thing, but I've never seen Nathan Cleverly commit to a jab in such a way that he's making the most out of his height and he's able to dictate distance in the ring. Rather, the Nathan Cleverly I see is a guy who ends up getting involved in shootouts, and I think against a chess player like Karo Murat, that's going to create problems. I don't like how Cleverly uses his jab. Also, his feet. He's a great athlete. He doesn't make the most of his athleticism because his feet, in my opinion, and I'm just a boxing fan, his feet are too wide apart. He seems too anchored to the place in the ring where he is. I'm not saying he should move around like Michael Jennings, but what I am saying is, he gives away a lot of his athleticism. He doesn't really use the gifts he has. He has fast feet, but he keeps them too far apart. He's too anchored. I don't think he hits well on the move. Now let's talk about Karo Murat. Karo Murat's fight style is a bit like Arthur Abraham's, right? He has a very high guard. He, is somewhat passive. It's not an active defense, right? When you're hitting him, he just has the guard up and he lets you hit his hands. He's not throwing punches while you're hitting him, right? What's interesting, though, is watch his feet. He's always coming forward. He waits for openings, just like Arthur Abraham. He'll take off the first couple of rounds, but he's a great counterpuncher. He'll figure out angles. He'll wait for openings. Then he starts coming forward. And what I like about Murat is he throws very short punches. Short punches are harder to counter than long punches, right? He is excellent defensively, even though I'm expecting Cleverly to throw a higher volume of punches, right? Just like opponents of Arthur Abraham's typically throw a higher volume of punches than Abraham. I'm expecting Murat to block most of those punches. I think Murat is mentally strong. I'm expecting him to step forward and to slowly take control of the fight. You'll know if I'm right by the fourth round if Murat at that point is able to start walking down cleverly, is able to start countering cleverly, and if he's able to block most of Cleverly's punches. Murat, very quick hands. He hides it behind his defensive shell, but when he starts to throw very quick hands, quite frankly, I consider him to be, just off boxing, a better boxer than Arthur Abraham. Obviously, Abraham is gifted with much more punching power. Abraham's punching power is rare, right? But Murat is an excellent boxer, works the head and the body, right? Knows how to use his height well. In other words, he's a shorter guy who understands that he has to get underneath his taller opponent, and when he does, he's able to go up top and down low in the same combination. I'm not surprised that Karo Murat, who isn't that well known, is undefeated. Here's where it gets tricky. The fight is in the United Kingdom, right? There is some hesitation on my part simply because the fight is in the United Kingdom. He is fighting a very popular British fighter, right? And as we know from some of the decisions we've seen in places like Germany and the state of Texas in the United States, sometimes hometown fighters get more of the benefit of the doubt than they should have. Nonetheless, I believe on the merits. To the gamblers, proceed with caution, right? Be aware that you need to be very careful since the fight is in the United Kingdom, but I do feel that Karo Murat is going to win this fight on the merits. That's my pick here. I am predicting that Murat gives Cleverly the first loss of his boxing career. At a minimum, I'm expecting Murat to do much better than expected. I'm expecting the favorite, Nathan Cleverly, to have his hands full in this one. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me on gamblersadvisory.com. I'm sure I'll get a few. Leave your comments, obviously, for me here on YouTube. And, of course, visit our Facebook page, gamblersadvisory.com on Facebook. Thanks for watching.